Joined as the employee number 1 for India for LKQ in 2008. And today we have got this much, 1200 employees.
I've done my post-graduation in tool engineering, but for the last 25 years I've worked in various fields. Only over the last 14 years with LKQ, I'm in one particular role. Otherwise, every year I used to change my role. We have abolished the word employee in the organization.
Employee word.
Word is abolished.
The British education system made huge damage to our country. Somewhere I feel this MNC culture is also trying to create that kind of that slavery mindset.
You say to fail, there is nothing wrong in failing. You can put a failure as a part of your resume. That's a big thing, right? You learn a lot during that process.
I don't care about how big we grow. Are you growing? Because if you're growing, you will make the company grow.
Do not delegate tasks. Delegate accountability. Make them feel accountable for what they do, whatever level they are on. I learned this particular task in a very, very hard way.
A lot of people reach out to me for advice. They work with large companies for 10, 15 years. In the name of layoff, they lose the job and they can't get any other job. These companies go for freshers again for a lesser salary.
Fielding something which is wrong from the eyes of the organization is not right. Even if you have made a mistake which cost the organization $100,000, we will be there to support you.
First of all, thanks everyone for joining us. And Kishore, thank you so much.
Oh,
this
my
is
pleasure.
like,
Pleasure is mine.
I happened to meet Kishore incidentally. And I think it was like, we wanted to expand our office, so we were looking for an office space. I happened to visit Primeco Towers, where Kishore's office, LKQ, India headquarters is there. So when I visited there, so we kind of want to see the offices. So Achut and his team, Fidelitas, has done the interiors for LKQ as well. So then I kind of, we requested his team there to visit, and then fortunately he came and received us from the reception. Then I started talking to him. Then he told me, I joined as the employee number 1 for India for LKQ in 2008. And today we have got this much, 1200 employees. Very rare you see stories of this kind. That's exactly what I was just quoting about Vijay Sankeshwar sir. Because someone who started with one truck and taking it to 5,000. Now today, someone joining Freedom app at current stage and taking it to the next level may be easy. But being with the company and building it from where we were 8-10 years back to where it is today, I think that's where I keep talking about Jeevan, Parmesh, Avinash, or Senthil when we started the app with zero. I think that really plays a very important role. Like Kaushik has built Telugu channel from scratch. So these commitments, right, are very rare to see. And leadership is all about, for me, commitment and reliability. And I'm sure Kishore wouldn't have come this far at LKQ without that commitment and reliability. Because some US company, if they have to trust him and invest money to build something big in India, that's only because of that one man who started. Obviously there are people now, but that one man's commitment makes a very important thing. So I saw something totally different in that environment. I felt that vibes. Now I thought it is good if I can invite Kishore to our office and make him share his insights with all of us. So Kishore, once again, thank you so much. I have a long list of questions which I have prepared. So first of all, it will be great if you can probably start with a quick introduction of your journey, probably pre-LKQ also, and then how it started. Then we can start with the questions. Please use the mic.
Good afternoon, everybody, and it's a pleasure to see you all in this room. And thank you all very much for giving me this opportunity to share my experiences and the journey that I have had for the last 25 plus years. I'm not a great speaker, but I'll do my best to convey the experience that I have had over the last 25 years. I'm a mechanical engineer. I've done my post-graduation in tool engineering, but for the last 25 years, I've worked in various fields. Only over the last 14 years with LKQ, I'm in one particular role. Otherwise, every year I used to change my role. I was a tool designer. First 5 years in my career, I never stepped into tool design. I was managing a tool room, then set up a fiber optic plant for the company, then went into manufacturing, design, global sourcing, project management. I moved into my core design after 5 years. I never touched a system or 3D graphics, anything for 5 years. Then I entered into it and I was there only for 1 year. Then I moved into CNC programming and other fields. That gave me lots of insights in my career. I learned a lot during the entire journey. That really helped me to grow to where I am today. And for the last 14 years, my experience with LKQ has been amazing. So I want to share my experiences with all of you, which might help you in your careers. So I thought it would be a good thing for me to share whatever I've learned over the last 25 plus years.
So Kishore, thanks for that introduction. So I want to start by talking about, tell us how was your experience by being the first employee? Because being the first employee, I have read many stories and I happened to meet a person many years back during the initial days of Freedom App, IndianMoney.com. So in 2009, I think, 9 beginning, this person said, you know what, I used to work with some IT company. 2 gentlemen came and approached me saying, why don't you join us? We're building an IT company from India. Then I joined them and initial days in my earlier company, people used to serve me coffee, tea. I had a nice office. Here there was nothing. And then after a few days, I felt this is not the place for me and I left. And then we asked them, which company is that? Who are those people? It is Narayan Murthy and Nandan Nilekani of Infosys. They came and approached him to become the co-founder. And this guy, because office was not great, coffee tea was not being served to him, he left it. Then he was saying, after it went for IPO, I never slept any day without any night without thinking about that incident. So, but think about it, right? So similar way, when you joined, probably this imagination of LKQ having 1,200 people in India wouldn't have been there, right? And did you have an office at least? How was that experience?
See, when I started in 2008, I know it's the same time when coincidentally you started Indian Money, right?
Indian Money.
I'm not sure how many of you all know, 2008 was one of the worst years for the global economy. The whole economy across the globe was down. Talk about North America, Europe, India, and especially the auto industry was in shambles. All the big giants, you talk GM, Ford, Chrysler, everybody filed bankruptcies. Detroit, which was known as the auto capital of US, became a desert. And for me, I was working with the pharma industry, accountable for sourcing from the Asia region, supporting the North American and European regions. And this was an opportunity to get into the automotive industry. And it was a big risk, right? The automotive industry was in shambles, all the big giants were collapsing, and we were into the aftermarket auto parts business. So I had lots of thoughts about, so is it the right thing I'm doing? Should I move? Should I not move and stuff? Then I took a risk. I said, it's a great I was number 2 in the previous company. Then I thought, getting into a company, starting afresh will give me an opportunity to build the value system and culture what I think would be appropriate for this particular service that we are doing for the global organization. So that's the thing, that's how it started. And this was a space into the IT and ITES sector. There are lots of people in back. You name them, everybody is here. Services companies, you take Infosys, Capgemini, Accenture, everybody. Captive units or the GCCs, or these are people who support their own organization across the globe. Amazon, Google, you name them, everybody is here. And we need to compete with such companies to get in people. So the first task for me was to understand how the ITES sector works. What are the challenges and what are the good things with both these sectors, whether it is a service company or a global command center, global competency center, GCC centers. So we found out what challenges these companies. When you get into a service company, typically they recruit people based upon a project. And the project runs for 5 years, 6 years. People work in that project. After that, you are put onto bench. And however good you are, the company will not look at you unless there is a new opportunity that is coming here. So that's the challenge. Yeah, the infrastructure is great. You walk into Infosys campus, it's a 5-star resort, right? That's how the infrastructure is. Coming to GCCs, yes, people think about long term. They provide career paths, but the work-life balance was a big challenge. People used to work for 10 hours, 12 hours. It's a challenge. So we thought when we started, it's a great opportunity for us to ensure that we address these two gaps and start with a value system and culture that would be the foundation for the organization as we continue. And me being the first member, it was a great opportunity for me to think in that lines and start building that culture and value system. I started working from home. First 6-7 months, I started working from home. And with my experience with sourcing, I used to support the organization for sourcing of components from the China region, China, Taiwan, Far East region, shipped to North America. And that's how the journey started. Slowly, we started getting the company incorporated in Bangalore. Started next year, we were 9 people and slowly grew to 1,200 people as we got today.
Wow. So 7 months you worked without an office.
Without an office.
And did you have that kind of assurance, at least from their side, that we're going to make it big, you do well, kind of things? Because normally in the corporate, what was that assurance you had or confidence you had that one day this will become big?
See, initially when I started with this organization, we were part of one division of LKQ. One division of LKQ that was around $350 million company, $350 million company. And our vision and goal was very, very clear. We are not going to move jobs from US to India. If we have a capacity constraint or a competency constraint in the US, we are going to build in India. And that was a challenge because the company doesn't know whatever we are going to build here, right? New competencies, new this thing. So we said maximum for that size of company, we would reach 100, 150 in the next 4-5 years. That's the max. That's the max we were expecting to grow.
Wow.
But 2014 is when the change happened, when LKQ acquired Keystone Automotive Operations was a company. When LKQ acquired us, we became part of the bigger organization. We became part of a $3 billion, $4 billion organization. Now it is a $13 billion organization.
13 billion.
13 billion across the globe.
So when you joined, it was just a 350 million.
$350 million.
Globally.
Globally, that's, yeah. It was only present in US and Canada.
Right. Right. You incorporated the company, you started with that, but then you had your own experience before joining LKQ. And I'm sure you, after working with different companies, did you have things in mind like these are the do's and don'ts of building a new culture, a new operation? These are the things, because you had seen, because when I worked with corporates before starting Indian Money, the first thing which I was very clear is fast track growth for my people. Because I left the corporate because I was not getting the growth whenever I wanted. Like, you give me a target, I will do it.
Correct.
But you can't tell me that, okay, no, this is our appraisal cycle, this is our promotion cycle. If you want to get promoted, you have to wait for this period. If I'm doing good, if I'm able to overachieve the targets, then you help me grow fast. And I think that is what we stood by even today at Freedom.
Excellent.
And were there any things like that, that you started with, these are the do's, these are the don'ts?
I want to share one experience that I had between 2005 and 2008. I was working with a TVS group of company called Harita InfoServe. We were into engineering services, supporting GM, Ford, EasyGo across the globe. EasyGo is a company which makes golf carts and stuff. So we have a company. I was the 43rd member in that organization. So it grew pretty fast. With me starting in 2005, it grew pretty fast. What happened in that organization was, I had some great experiences, great learning in that 3 years journey. I started as an engineer, became a senior engineer, project manager, program manager within 3 years. I grew pretty fast. The challenge with that was, it was a hierarchy-driven organization. And we were 2 people in the organization. When we grew to a size of around 170, 180, there were 2 members in the organization, me and my other colleague by name Jai Kumar. The organization said, whatever ideas come from Kishore and Jai Kumar, let's put it aside. We can't implement them. We are not ready to take anything from these 2 people. That doesn't mean to say that the organization never recognized us. They recognized us, they understood us, the value that we brought to the organization and everything. And it was like, the hierarchy was so much like, it was very complexly driven organization. So when I left the organization, we were a team of around 235 people. We had a president, multiple VPs, senior directors, senior VPs. It was like top heavy. So we both were thinking, me and Jaykumar were thinking, why should it be so complex to run an organization? Is that anything that we should do in future to make it much, much simpler? That was one of the things which I had as a milestone when I started the organization, saying that when I left, we were a team of 235 people in that organization. So we said, I need to achieve that milestone and show to the world saying that it's much, much simpler to run an organization than it becomes so complex. That was one big motivation I had when I started.
Very nice, brilliant. So, and then when you started, it's always important to build that A team.
Correct.
Right? Because however big you grow, your core team plays a very important role. And I think I keep telling this also. I failed in the initial phase of my career in building that A team. We had a lot of experiments and all that. But I think now gradually we learn what makes it, easy. How to build that A team. So how did you build your A team? Because last time when I came to your office, I met Avinash, your HR head.
HR, yep.
So incidentally, our HR head is also Avinash.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I want to know, how did you get that core team? Because you mentioned he's also with you. He's your employee too, I think.
No, Avinash is employee number 33.
33.
But when he joined, he was 25th person in the organization. He has been with us for the last 11 years.
11 years. So how did you get that core team in? How did you build that?
Yeah. You see, the core team, typically the members who joined us in 2009, we still have those people within the organization. They are the senior leaders in the organization. And this team, since we wanted to build something very different for the organization, these people were, I was not aware of these people, we recruited them, but they understood the value and the culture that we want to bring to the organization, and they helped us in driving that value system and culture. And these people today are very, very proud being in the organization for the last 14 years and still continuing to grow. And that's a big change. That's a big change. The biggest thing for us was to ensure that make them feel valued, make them understand that what is in this store for us for the long term, and why it is important for them to stay grounded and drive the organization. And these people, I'm 001, I have 002, 003 still with us.
They're all with you.
They're all with us.
Very nice. So what qualities did you look for? Because all my leaders here, I'm sure when they have to pick the right team, because there are people who are nice to you, there are people who are capable, there are people who are ambitious, right? So some people are capable but not ambitious. Some people who are ambitious but not capable. So you get all kinds of people. But then when you pick your people, what are those qualities you look for?
See, the first basic thing we look at is screening the technical basic requirements that we have for the job profile. That's the basic thing that we do. The next important thing that we do is see what we strongly believe within the organization is that however good a person is, if the environment is bad, he or she will fail, will not succeed. If the environment is good, even an average person will succeed. So first thing what we wanted to check is, after we do all the basic screening, whether they would be okay, whether they'll fit into our value system and culture. That's the first check that we do. If the person even is technically very sound, if we feel somewhere behind, at the corner of our mind, we feel that they might not suit to our value system and culture, we tell them saying that it might not fit here. 3 is their commitment. How eager are they to come and deliver for us? These are the 3 things that we look at.
So first one is, I'm sure everybody, so one is the fit in the technical
requirements.
Second, whether they fit into the culture. And the third one is?
Third one is their commitment, is their eagerness to deliver, their urge to learn and grow.
Very nice, very nice. So I think pretty much here as well we look at that. But we don't give much importance to technical things here. We train them, except in case of Senthil and content. Senthil though 99% people don't pass through his interviews. But see, this culture how do you define it? Because this is something which keeps me puzzled always. I mean, I always wonder. People talk about culture, we want to have a great culture. Now, I keep telling my people, we are not an employee-friendly culture. It is employee-progressive culture. Because I keep telling, like, I was just telling you before I've got two VPs, Jeevan and Parmesh. Both of them joined me for 8,000 salary. Today, both of them manage 300 plus people each in the office and such a huge team working from home. And they contribute almost together 90% of our revenues. And they came up to that level not because they had the capability and not because we had an employee-friendly environment. It was only because they were shown the progressive path. You do this, you get there. You know, like every time I feel that even I as an individual, if I don't have a goal to chase, I won't chase. So we keep talking about it. How do you get there? What kind of targets, things like that. So how do you do that? Within LKQ, how do you define that?
See, one of the big mindset change that we wanted to bring in the minds of people is, we said, we need to think very, very differently, people who join us, right? We have abolished the word employee in the organization.
Employee word.
Word is abolished.
Team.
The reason why we think about it is, people come with a mindset saying, I'm joining this organization, I'm an employee, I have a role, I'll be paid for that role, I do that, I get paid, I go away. He said, that's not our intent. Our intent is you need to become a member of LKQ family. All of us as family members have a goal to achieve. Each of us will play a different role in the organization to achieve that goal. That should be the mindset. So in our organization, we don't use the word employee. Everybody is a member of a family. That's the big change that we wanted to bring into people.
Wow. I think we did this a few years back. We said, don't use the word employee and just team and team member.
Excellent, excellent, nice.
So I think that makes a total sense. But
Absolutely.
then, see this culture part. So what happens? I keep saying this, being good and doing good. Now as an organization, we can be good to people. Like you give an employment to somebody, they work with you for 5 years or 3 years. And by the time they finish that 5 years, they literally become machines. And they will not be able to think big. They won't be able, and then even to get another job elsewhere, they'll find it difficult tomorrow. And instead, if you can create an environment where from all angles they get better. Because see, I keep telling, if my team members are getting better offers from other companies, we are successful. If my team members are not getting good offers and there's no headhunting happening, that means we are not doing good.
Correct.
So that's how we think. But a lot of these large companies today, I think there's some kind of propaganda, I would say. Like the British education system made huge damage to our country. I was talking about it.
Correct. Yep.
Vijay Sankeshwar. Somewhere I feel this MNC culture is also trying to create that kind of it's not the other way around.
Correct.
It is not that company is growing and they make you grow. You are growing because of that company is growing. Each team member has to grow. So how do you do that? Because an MNC will have its own culture. Because as a company, I want an employee, not a family member. So how do you do that?
Yeah. See, just before getting into that question, I want to talk about the cultural attributes and the value system that we wanted to imbibe in the organization. Because that is the biggest foundation for us. For people to come, enjoy, work on a Monday morning with a smile, be happy, go back home happily, the value system and the culture plays a very, very important role. So we, as I was mentioning, saying what were the gaps in the ITES sector, what were the gaps in the service industry as well as the captive units, we thought those should become all the gaps should become the cultural attributes for us within the organization. So one was that moving away from the mindset of employee to member. Two, we said everything, whatever we do, we wanted to be process driven, make it visible metrics. People should come with that mindset, whether it is the front desk person sitting at security man sitting at the front desk, or our housekeeper, or a member who's executing some task for the global organization. Everybody has to follow a process. How do you drive the energy and happiness across the team members was one of the biggest questions that we had. We were trying to do lots of team building activities, lots of those things, but everything failed. Everything failed.
Everything failed.
Everything failed. Nothing worked. Yeah, you have energy when you're doing a team building exercise, come back, that's it. It's more stressful than actually its enjoyment.
Okay.
So what we did within the organization is we said, we formed, these are all ideas not from my end, it came from the team members. We do an annual exercise with members joining us, giving us ideas, thoughts and everything. We formed 3 committees within the organization. One committee is named as Funky.
Funky.
Fun, and key was keystone because of our
Right.
name and stuff, right? The goal for this team is to drive our value system and culture through cultural activities as a medium. So we do birthday celebrations, we do team outings, we do team lunches. We also had to do something called as a family day every year. We just had it last Saturday, where all the members and the family members are invited to outside location. Our team members perform on the stage, awards night, we bring in one celebrity. Lots of things happen. This time we had around 4,500 people joining us for that event. And little things that this team takes care, right? Since our team members are performing on the stage and in front of their family members, we wanted to make them give a professional look in front of the family members. So what we do, we bring in choreographers at least 1 or 2 months before. Train these people to perform on the stage. So that's the kind of this thing that details that this funky team will enter into in driving that culture. 2, we formed something called as a Killudus team. This team will drive our value system and culture through sports as a medium. So we have 5 sporting activities every year with cricket, badminton, soccer, volleyball and carom. So what we do is, here we operate in a way very similar to IPL. They are owners. I am one of the owners for all the 4 teams. I go bid for players. So what happens, if I have to bid for players, if I have to select a cricket team, I need to understand the members in the organization much beyond their existing work. Whether it's good in batting, bowling, wicketkeeper, I need to have a team which has multi-skills, right? So I need to interact with people, get to know their skills, get to know them very well. And before the event, we at least practice 4 to 5 weekends to ensure that we compete on the day, on the big day. So coming out of that event, my team will have 2 people from finance, 3 people from IT, 3 people from analytics, 3 people from HR. So all these members get together.
I wanted to actually showcase that video.
Our anthem video?
Yeah.
Wow, that was one of our...
that talks in volume about the team's dedication to make it happen. Because we do conduct activities, but I must admit, we don't pay so much of, details, like we don't pay attention. We do it because we have to do it, for the sake of it, some of our activities. You just watch this video.
Walk together, hand in hand, for integrity and excellence we stand, leading from the front, being dependable, no matter what may come, united we stand.
We strive to be better every day and deliver results with fun in every way. We're not just a company, but one big family. Come together, let me hear you say LKQ, our people are pride. Namma LKQ, hamara LKQ. LKQ, our people are pride. Namma LKQ, hamara LKQ. LKQ, our people are pride. Namma LKQ, hamara LKQ. LKQ, our people are pride. Namma LKQ, hamara LKQ.
Whatever may come, we give our best. Such is the passion that we invest. Out here, everyone is an equal, no matter where they come from, east or west.
We strive to be better every day and deliver results with fun in every way. We're not just a company, but one big family. Come together, let me hear you say LKQ, our people are pride. Namma LKQ, hamara LKQ. LKQ, our people are pride. Namma LKQ, hamara LKQ. LKQ, our people are pride. Namma LKQ, hamara LKQ. LKQ, our people are pride. Namma LKQ, hamara LKQ.
Okay.
Brilliant. So I thought I must play it here.
Okay, it
Yeah.
was good. It was good that you saw that.
So
That's how the sports activity that brings people together in a big way. Today, because of the sporting activities, people have decided the finance guy gets to interact with the IT development guys. IT development guys get to interact with the analytics guys. Analytics guys get to interact with the HR guys. So today, the person who has joined us 002, he's a mechanical engineer. He joined us as a content developer. Today, he's leading the finance organization.
wow.
Our analytics person is leading the HR organization. And our person who's joined as a process associate in finance, he is into IT development. The good thing is people sacrifice their weekends and come for practice. Almost half of our weekends are for games, practices, and doing that. Now, the third thing we did in the organization was we launched another team called Kizan. Kizan.
Kizan. The
This
first
team-
one is funky.
Funky Kiludus Kizan.
The second one is what?
Kiludus. It's a Greek word. Ludus means sports.
Okay. Okay.
So Kizan, this team drives our value system and culture through, I would say, our bringing in peace into what we do, developing our hobbies, developing something. So we conduct cooking classes, we conduct gardening classes, we conduct photography classes over the weekends. People do it. This team is, yeah, you need to improve the process and stuff. That's a process excellence team. But this thing is more about how do I ensure that I have a peaceful life? How do I have fun in my whole journey? How do I create some hobbies for me to do something during my free time? And these teams have really helped us to build this culture.
Wow. I think every organization, right, as we grow big, you'll have organizations within organizations. The way we mentioned, finance organizations, sales. Within sales, again, various organizations. That's what I keep calling it as leaders' religion. My biggest concern, worry as we grow bigger, it should never become one individual's aspiration imposing things on everybody. It is about the collective responsibility of everyone to make sure it's a collective victory. We all, within our teams, we have to take people along. And at every phase, if we can, do such activities with that genuine concern and ownership to make this place better, the people's life better, then I feel, I'm sure things will fall in place. But I am really concerned to know, I really want to know, how do we really build that? Because you said 3 activities, we did this. Great to hear. But then, who drove it? How was that?
It is all about the team members.
Team.
Today, every year this team gets chance, right? And everybody in the organization would get an opportunity to become part of those teams. So that, see, one of the challenges that we have in our education system or in our society is that when we do study, lots of competition, lots of this thing, we don't focus on any of the external skills. It's just study, you come out. You talk about your public speaking skills. Anything, we don't get an exposure. Coming onto the stage and talking to 10 people in front of them, it's a challenge. Now, this will give an opportunity for people to come and stand in front of 1,000+ people to drive an event. And none of the leaders are involved in any of these committees. It's all the people at the execution level. Leaders are just the mentors, just to make sure that they are moving in the right direction. They do not deviate our value system on any of those activities that we do. That's the role for the mentors. But the team members will drive these activities.
But I think my leaders, including me, our concern is when you let people do such things, it affects the core functions or the productivity. And that's a natural concern. And some people, they totally forget their core and they focus on this. How do you ensure that it doesn't affect your deliverables or productivity, things like that?
So first thing, when the team is formed, when we take nominations for people who want to join this, right, we are very, very clear with the team saying this involves additional efforts and time. We do not want you to compromise anything that is required as delivery. That's the core. That gives us money. That's the bread and butter for us. If we compromise on that, we can't run any of the activities. So we tell people saying that that's the core. You need to do that. Plus, you get an opportunity to improve your leadership skills, planning skills. Lots of things come to them because of these activities. Driving an event for 1,200 people is not easy. Arranging everything, forming the teams, ensuring the skill sets are matched, putting tags when we go for bidding. It's not an easy task. There are lots of efforts put behind the scene to make sure that people make this event successful on everything that we do, whether it's a small activity or a big activity. But it's very clear in the minds of people saying, work will not get compromised. This is my additional task.
So those who join these committees to conduct these activities, they won't get any kind of levy, discount in their deliverables.
Nothing. One thing we do is, we tell them, if you participate, if you start doing it, because in our evaluation for people, it's just not process. How are you imbibing our value system and culture? How are you helping in driving that value system and culture? That almost gets 25% weightage in our TRP process.
Very nice.
So people are very clear saying, it's just not work for us, it's beyond work.
And in terms of hiring people, whenever we hire people, new people, they join us, we have screened them really well. We have to teach them on the technical things, their job, all that. But how do you train the new people on culture?
See, that's one of the biggest challenges that we have, because people are exposed to different environments, different cultures across, right? Whether you take a service industry or a captive industry or a manufacturing industry or our education system or within our family, we are exposed to different cultures. First thing we do is we tell people saying that whatever you have exposed, there are lots of good things in what your cultures are. Lots of good things that are happening. But for us within LKQ, there is a value system and culture which has helped us to grow to this level. We want you all to be flexible to abide by that and also help us in promoting that. It takes, our analysis over the last 12 years says that it takes almost 6 quarters for people to get used to our culture. It's not easy to change the culture. One of the things that we have seen within our environment is that the risk-taking capability of people is not high. So few years we had that as a focus area. We told all our leaders, it's okay to take a risk. Allow people to take a risk. It's okay to fail. There is nothing wrong in failing. You can put a failure as a part of your resume. That's a big thing, right? you learn a lot during that process. We tell people, make people fail, it's okay. But we don't want people to repeat a mistake. We tell, be behind your members to ensure that they learn and grow, even if they take a risk and fail. We did that. The other thing that we saw within people is that this thing is we tell yes to everything. Whenever our counterparts ask for something, we say nod our heads, but we don't deliver. So we had focus areas to make people think, saying that it's okay to tell no, but be polite. Tell them saying that I will get back to you with an answer. Don't say yes for everything without even understanding the complexity of what that requires. So this is the other thing we changed. Third thing is, when we get people in, the first thing I do is, apart from HR induction and everything, I address all team members. Every Monday people join us. So every Monday I have a session with all the new joiners and make people tell them saying why this value system and culture is important for us and how important it is. For example, I'll tell you, LKQ as a company, we have 7 values across the globe. We have 7 attributes as our value system, defined by an acronym called DELIVER. Each alphabet in this word stands for a value. When our president was in the India office, we told him saying these values are good for commercial operations across the globe. But India is different. We are a support organization for our global teams. We said these 7 values are not sufficient for us. We wanted 2 more values to be added. Our president was open enough to understand. So he felt saying that people think way beyond. He was open to our discussion. We added fun and teamwork into our value system. And we launched our value system as always deliver through teamwork with fun. So I explained to the team members saying why each of the value is important for us and what it means for us to grow to this level. And I also give stories about how we have grown from 1 to 1,200 people, with this being the core foundation for us. And that really helps people to think and change. And typically, people are exposed to different things. It takes 6 quarters for us to make people change. So what we have seen is people who are with us for more than a year, our attrition drops significantly. Only people within the first year, we see more of attrition.
Understood. So what kind of attrition you have currently?
Currently, we are at around 19% when the industry is at 19
annually.
Annually, Trailing 12-month basis is what we calculate.
So among the first years
will be around 28 to 30%. Once people are there with us for more than a year, it drops to 60%.
Very nice. So now across departments you've got leaders.
Yes.
And these guys have to pick their team, and they have to also. I'm sure some of them are homegrown leaders as well. How do you because I have this challenge. 99% of my sales leaders, they're all homegrown. They join me at the entry level, and then they've grown up. Biggest challenge is to coach them, groom them, to make them successful as leaders, because that's a very big responsibility. And if they fail as leaders once, that will affect. Fail means I'm okay with they failing in some experiments, but failing in career is enough.
Correct.
That's not acceptable. So how do you groom these new leaders?
See, one of the good things that is happening for LKQ India is that we continue to grow year on year. So what happens is, with that growth, we also need to think about having leadership built across the organization. So 3 years before, we started something called as a LEAP program, Leadership Enhancement and Advancement Program. What we do in this program is we identify future leaders for the organization, train them, expose them to various scenarios and this thing. This is a 6 to 9 month course. 40-50 people join every year. We put them into that rigorous training, and they will have workshops, they'll have mentor-mentee relationships, knowledge sharing sessions. They need to pick up some scenarios, understand how they will resolve those scenarios, come in front of people, present it. We'll have an external leaders coming in, training them and stuff. It goes for 6 to 9 months. After that, these people are ready to take up leadership. Whether it is from an execution role to a team leader role or team leader to a manager. That program has really, really helped us, and it has become like a flagship program across the globe. Everybody is eager to understand how this is run, and we are implementing something similar in North America.
Who is leading that?
One of the leaders here in India. So every year those leadership, that focus area once we put in, We'll have a leader, plus we'll have execution members who will drive those programs.
Wonderful. And there's a predefined calendar for that?
Predefined calendar, everything is structured.
Very nice. Very
That helps us to build
nice.
leaders
Something
within
we
the
all have to
organization.
think about. Yeah? How do you define these KPIs for all your leaders? And are these, see now, I'm sure you being the leader for India operations, CEO, you have your own KPIs and you have to achieve certain things. But then within your teams, different teams, they have to have their own KPIs. Now, are these KPIs defined once a year or how do you review them? What is the process?
See, we have all these we either use KPIs, key performance indicators, SLAs, service level agreements with our internal customers. Sometimes some teams might have both, some teams might have only one, some teams might not have either of this, but at least the goals will be defined for the year. What we try to do is we do it on an annual basis, but it's not fixed. We will change that every quarter depending upon the need the organization has. So when we define the KPIs for the entire teams, I will have a session with all our leaders saying, how is it flowing down from the organization vision, organization focus, and how each of us within the India organization contribute to the success of the broader organization. So once people feel that yes, whatever they do on a daily basis, it helps the broader organization, they get to know and we get imbibed easily. And we review them every quarter. Every day, each of the team will have their daily dashboards. And we are daily dashboards. We are very, very clear. There was lots of resistance in the initial days when we started the operations with North America and Europe, saying that, why do you want to measure anything? Why do you want to have KPIs? We are not interested. We want people to get in, do the work, go back. That's it. I don't want people to waste time on documenting anything. We told, okay, we'll listen to you. We documented things for 2 years without telling anybody saying we are documenting. After 2 years, I went to US, presented saying how the team has performed, how they have grown over the last 2 years. Here is the data for all. That changed the mindset of the organization across North America. And today, we use metrics for everything. If you walk on the floor that we have, anybody can get to know whether this team has performed their job yesterday or not. Whether they are quality deliverables which are good, not good, production deliverables good, not good, everything is known to everybody. It's visible across. And we use our daily metrics chart as a mechanism to not only share what we have done yesterday, to recognize people, to share our learnings that what we have, and it goes across the organization. So people become visible. It's a mechanism to promote your team. It's a mechanism to make people visible across the organization. And people invest time to develop those dashboards, and I would say it's an investment.
Wow. I think today our sales team, if it is doing good, maybe because of that, we have this daily tracking system. And I keep telling this to every other department as well, that we must move into that approach. It's not just because someone is tracking you. Even if you want to tell the world, like how do you differentiate yourself from someone who is an average guy or below average guy? If you're doing better than everybody else, you document it, you can show it to the world that I am far superior than all others in the team. So otherwise what will happen, everyone will be treated equally. And then you will not know, like for example, our tech. When everyone is coding, everybody is coding. They're working on the same project. But then when we don't publish a dashboard or in content or video editing, so I think this is a very important lesson, no doubt.
I think it makes much more. So today, if you don't have anything to measure, right? 1 year later, if you ask a person saying, what have you done over the last year? He will tell the same thing that he has done last year too.
Yeah.
Will not have anything concrete to tell saying, this is where I've improved over the last 1 year. This is my growth. So that really helps people too. We make them understand saying it helps you. Not only helps the organization, but helps you as an individual to get that.
A lot of these companies, I mean like even within our company, like, I have a leader who has his own team. Now his team members may feel, or obviously, like Sudheer has a say in what this leader is doing. Similar way in your company, now you as a leader, obviously your people will always think US gives those instructions or commands you what needs to be done. But then as a leader, you will have to always ensure that it is I who decide. I mean, of course, you have certain protocols and certain boundaries, but it is you who decide the internal things and you deliver, you drive. And you bring in your individualistic culture, because you have spoken about various things you have done which are first across LKQ globally. And that's a challenge, because a lot of people, they stay as my shadow, and that's a danger.
Absolutely.
That's a very big deal. I want them to have their own individual culture where they think this I have to do. This is the way to do it. They can copy some of the things which we do, but then they should never remain a shadow. So how did you adopt it?
One of the big things that we do is, one of the things that we tell to all leaders is, do not delegate tasks, delegate accountability. Make them feel accountable for what they do, whatever level they are on. I learned this particular task in a very, very hard way. I actually felt embarrassed after this story, right? I was working in that TVS group of companies between 2005 to 8 when I was the second person in my team, grew to almost 50-55 people in a span of 3 years, excellent growth, everything. 3 year span, I just took 2 days leave. We used to work even on Saturdays that time. 2 days leave. One day I was admitted in hospital, second day my daughter was born, so only 2 days. My work is to start at 6:30 in the morning, open what are the mails that have come, delegate to my team, go to the office at around 9, do all the work, be there till everybody gives the deliverables, I review it, I send back to the customers. That was my routine for almost 3 years. Every day starting at 7:30, coming home at 10:30. Team grew from 1 member to 55 member team. It grew very well. Company recognized me, they gave me promotions, salary increment, everything was good. I was leaving the organization. Typically what I do is when I leave the organization, I talk to everybody to understand what are the goods, what are the bads, how should I improve what it is. I spoke to all 50 people. Everybody said all positive things about me, saying you are a great leader, you interact with everybody. One person created the difference for me. When I walked in, he said, because of you, I failed in the organization. That was an eye-opener for me. The reason why he said it, then I was thinking deep, saying, where is that? What is that I do? I was doing everything. I just started delegating tasks to people, asked them to do that, get back to me. Never getting them exposed to the overall picture of what is to be done. That person, if you had told me that, we would have grown much faster. And the team would have grown much, much faster. That was a big, big eye-opener for me. And I changed my leadership style after that entire incident. Next company, it was a total different. I was a different leader. And my stress levels came down. I never worked 12 hours a day. I was working only for 8 to 9 hours a day. Team members used to do, and we were much more successful once we started delegating the accountability. That was a big change.
This is very interesting. Very important lesson for all of us, including me. Delegating accountability, not tasks. Very nice, very nice. But then, when you delegate accountability, I'll take this example.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
We are here. We had to make sure that the audio system is proper. Delegating accountability means event is happening, everybody knows. The respective team has to ensure it is taken care. But then the challenge is, sometimes when you delegate accountability, you're right, you give them opportunity, exposure, but sometimes they fail us.
Correct.
Right? And that affects a lot of things. In some situation, it becomes very critical. How do you deal with it?
What we tell, typically what we do with our leaders is we tell them, saying that you delegate the accountability. It's okay for them to fail. It's okay for them to fail. There is nothing wrong. You train them, you bring them up to speed, tell them saying that you can't repeat this. Most of the times people get in that. Once they get to know that we back up people when there is a failure, we don't punish them when there's a failure. Next time they learn, they will deliver. They'll automatically take much more challenging things and start it. So that backing up the people, giving them the credit, saying that we have done this, will completely change the scenario. We have seen deal with it more successfully with the
But so whenever we talk about any task, any job to be done within the organization, so at LKQ currently, for example, you have this family day. Probably for everybody's benefit. If you can talk about what was your role in planning it? Don't tell me this year. I know it has been happening for many years. When you initially thought about it, or first 2 years, what was your role and how was this conceptualized, or how do you delegate this accountability to different people? That entire process probably, because I don't want to talk about the business related
Correct.
things because
Absolutely.
that may not be relatable. This is something easily relatable.
See, we started the family day way back in 2012 when we were a small team of around 70, 75 people, right? The thought process there was we wanted to make sure that our family members understand that the value that people get getting into our office every day. People spend 50% of the time with us, right, at the office. So family members, we felt it's important for family members to know what kind of culture that is in the office, what kind of environment that we have in the office, and how do we run it. So we wanted to do something where family members are involved. So I grouped in all my leaders, said we need to think about how do we involve family in whatever we do. And we were thinking various thoughts came in, should we do something as a family day on a weekend, ask people to get into the office, see everything and do. We had multiple ideas and then we decided, okay, we will do something which is one event annually, wherein we recognize good people who have done that great work over the year. Family members will be happy to see their works getting the award on the stage. Two, many people have passions beyond their work. Whether they are great people, we have people who are directors, they direct movies. We have people who are karate black belts, represented Karnataka state too. There are people who perform dances, there are people who sing. We said we should give an opportunity for all these people to showcase their talent. So we thought a family cultural event would be a great to come up with that. Then the team members came up with the idea, we will form this. Typically what we do is we have a core committee driving that. The core committee will give the direction saying this is how the event will be, this is how the crowd will be, what should be the guidelines. Then we form splits. There will be a committee for food, there will be a committee for the stage, there will be a committee for greeting people. All those things, different committees are formed and they drive the tasks. And today,
you kind of review them?
Today for this year family day, I might have hardly spent 1 hour with the team. That's it.
1 hour.
1 hour with the team, maximum. Just to understand what team we are following and what is that mean. Other than that, it is the team takes care.
Very nice. I have many more questions to ask, but in the interest of time, I wanted to ask if you guys have questions so that we can take few questions from all of you and then I'll continue.
How we can come as sometimes it happens. Like if people are not doing actually good, so after putting so much effort, we are in the end we are saying, okay, now you are not listening. Now this will happen because our upper like AVP or COS. So how we can how we can command.
So his question is, I hope you understood. So he says, we spoke saying another leader should not be our shadow, like the people who report to me,
Correct.
my direct reports at least. So they should have their own individual, leadership quality. That's what we call it as leaders' relation. But then how do they achieve it?
See, as leaders, I think we cannot have one principle with all of our team members, right? For one member in the team, a pat on the back every day will keep him energized. For one person, if you go and pat on the back every day, that guy will feel disappointed. Why is this person coming and checking me? He thinks it's micromanagement. For somebody, it is taking him for a coffee every day. You need to understand what is that which motivates each person on a regular basis. That's number one. Two, as a leader, we should be ready to sacrifice our thoughts and ideas for the members. Now I'm discussing with the people. They come and present a project plan with us, and you know that it's not moving in the right direction. Start giving them sparks saying, you know the answer, what they should do, but you don't immediately give the answer. give a spark, give a clue saying that, let it come out of their mouth, saying that, oh, if you have done this, it will help us. So next meeting when you conduct, ask them to do that, you give that credit to the person saying it's your idea, it's not my idea. Automatically people will change. Once you start doing that, people will change and you will see the benefit.
Right. Next question.
How do we handle the micro gas between the people?
So, interesting.
I know every team will have micro-talks, right? You will have water cooler talks, you will have cafeteria talks, every team will have their own this thing. Stuff. And in one way that is healthy for the team also, right? They bring group of people together, share ideas, bring this. Now, whatever ideas that they have, take it in the positive sense of how it is going to help them. There will be something which might be a grapevine, or if it's something which is not right, ignore those talks. What is good from those talks, bring it in front of everybody. Share, these people were discussing these things which is going to help everybody. Let's communicate across so that everybody will get benefit. Automatically people will think next time if I do that, they know that we would have heard even the other talks, but we are only promoting what is right. They will feel guilty. Making them feel guilty and you slowly start changing the culture. As I said, it's not easy, right? It's not a one-day task. It takes multiple quarters to make people think, saying as an organization, this is how we function.
Next, Pavitra.
What are your thoughts on freedom of expression? Meaning, how far an employee be given freedom to express themselves, or because giving freedom might go out of hand. So, how far is it important and how much do you allow?
If you talk about our culture within the office, right? There are no restrictions for people to walk into my office any day. Typically, what I do as a person is whatever I need to do individually, finish up at home, walk into the office. My calendar at office is 50% time free. People can walk in, people can discuss. And to our leaders, I am very clear and told them saying that if somebody wants to talk to me, let them talk. And when the person comes and talks to me, I also keep them informed saying that whatever we have spoken, whatever we have decided, it's your responsibility, go talk to your leaders. So that there is no communication gap. As an organization across the globe, right, there are no boundaries between any of the leaders. We are a very flat, very open organization. Anybody can pick up the phone, talk to the president of the organization. Nobody restricts. So now it's an open culture.
Yes. Very important. That has to be followed across. Yeah? Yeah. Everywhere it should be followed, because an open door policy, that's what I keep saying. Unless until you are in something very important, I ask everyone to keep the doors open.
We should make ourselves available for people. That's very, very important.
Transparent. Next question.
Yep.
Yeah. Ganga.
We are there to support people. We are there to this thing. We have seen people when their family members are in their final stages, we have allowed people to sit at the hospital bed and work for 6 months, 7 months. So their mental health for us is very, very important. If their mind is free, if their mind is not cluttered with anything, if it is free, they'll be able to deliver, they'll be happy, they'll enjoy, go back home happy. Our happiness quotient takes bigger, I would say it is in the top for every leader to ensure that the happiness quotient is very good.
Yeah.
First question is about people management. That it's in case of your perspective, how to manage people. Second, when you're working for 9 to 10 hours, so it's matter the quality of the time. Like in the morning time, you have the high energy, but the day is gone, your energy become low. So how to maintain the quality of time? Because currently we are doing two things. We are maintaining people. We are guiding them, and also we are building. We are having smart people who can work in our company. So we have a limited time. So how to get the quality time, sir?
Managing people, I would come back to that. It's a very, very wide subject, right? Managing or leading people. How do you ensure that people output is constant throughout the day and this? And it goes to the fact that am I enjoying my work or not? If I'm enjoying my work, whether if you ask to play a game of cricket after you go back, you'll enjoy, right? If people are enjoying their work throughout the day, automatically they're delivering. I'll share one example which happened to me way back when I was in my manufacturing days. We used to do something called as, for the automotive industry, we used to give cables with a connector you need to do. So what we used to do, we used to take a copper cable, strip at the front end, crimp, it's a small connector to metal piece, you have to crimp it. That's the job. It's a mission, people have to sit every day, do that job. Typical people used to work 8 hours in a day, do their job, go back. We used to do around 190 to 100 per minute, roughly around 800, 900 per shift. As a production leader, I was given the task of improving the efficiency of those people, productivity improvement. I did all studies. Morning shift, we used to work 24 hours a day. Morning shift, evening shift, after tea, before tea, after lunch, before lunch, all times we used to find what the changes were, production changes. We did lots of exercises over a 6 months period. I did a Kaizen project, everything. We improved from 800 to 1000. People used to deliver 1000. Company was extremely happy. People were thought we changed the lights, how the focus is for people, had songs within the manufacturing facility, everything we did. It moved us off. Then we were expanding the facility. I was asked to go to Taiwan to buy those machines, crimping machines we call them. I get into Taiwan, I was surprised what happened there. No AC, people are working in a haphazard environment, in sheds, I would say. They used to do 2000 every shift. Where are we? 800 to 1000, we were celebrating. And those guys used to do 2000 every shift. I come back, I recorded everything, I come back, I tell our people, just one address to the entire team saying, this is what I have seen across. Travel to the facility, no AC, they have some fan. I would say it's like a garage. Everywhere, everything thrown, oil on the floor. That's the environment they are working in. They are doing 2000. Come and tell to people saying, they do 2000, why is that we are held at 2000? Within 1 month, our production jumped to 1400. So the inner capability of people is way, way higher than what we demonstrate. It's just that if you get to know saying somebody else can do it, we can do it. Think about it. When a person hit a double century in the ODI matches, before that nobody did for multiple years. After one person did cross that milestone, how many have crossed today? Plenty. It just shows that if somebody can do, even I can do. It is more about we thinking saying our inner capability is way, way higher than what we actually do. So throughout the day, people have that energy. Even in night shift, people were doing 1400. Full night shift, 9 p.m. to morning 6 a.m. So it was not about, it was more, yes, I am capable, I have the energy to do, I am eager to do, I am enjoying what I do. And that changes the whole thing.
Good. Next one. Sahil.
At a certain point when we reach in leadership, is more of imparting of knowledge. So the learning process stops. So at what, how can we not stop this process of learning? Because learning is also very important at every stage of life. So can you please share some light?
See, every day for any leader, every day is learning, right? You're learning what I think in your mind is that you're talking about technical things. I am learning something, I'm coding. Say, for example, you're doing coding. New technology coming up, I keep learning. Now, as we get into leadership skills, the biggest mistake people make is that, oh, am I missing something in learning technical things? First thing is we should sacrifice saying it's okay, my team is there to support me on technical things. They have to learn and grow. For me, it's more about how do I enhance my leadership skills? How do I make sure that my people are visible across the organization? How do I ensure that I know what is happening around in the organization? How do I align my energy to the organization goals? That's a learning. Everything is a learning. It's just not the technical things are learning, right? So we keep learning every day. Today morning when we met the chairman of VRL coming here, there was lots of learnings. The humbleness that he brought to the table, he running such a big organization, is so humble. That's a big learning. So every day is a learning for us. And that learnings we need to start imparting to people. It's just not the technical things that we learn. Learning includes everything: people management, people leadership, technical things, knowing the business, knowing the environment, knowing the economy, how the economy links to us. Once we get an overall grasp of everything, that's how we grow faster.
I have two questions. Number one is that as a leader or as a team lead, sometimes I just feel I don't really understand where is the line when you are trying to explain something or teach something to your team members that it is too much. It's almost like a spoon feeding sometimes. So how can one person just ensure that you are training someone but not actually just saying, okay, I will do this, like that? So that is one issue which is generally faced.
So in this case, I think the first step is to understand the person more before you start that training. Whether this person is eager to learn and grow, whether this person needs spoon feeding, what is that attitude of that person? Once you know that, then you can limit, okay, for this person, I can just give him the gist, he or she will take care and deliver. Another person who is not self-motivated, who is not, sometimes, everybody is different, right? Sometimes some people are like intellectually little at the lower end. Then you need to spend more time with that person. So it's not uniform across. It depends upon whom you are training and whom you are coaching.
And another question is, it is more personal, but maybe other people can also benefit from it. Sometimes I feel that being kind is being too kind to someone. Like just a very small example of anyone generally. If a person will message me saying, I am taking a leave for this reason, I'll say, okay, this, take care. Then again the same thing. Then the third time the same thing. So I don't know how can one balance out this thing of being kind of, or being too kind or just being strict like that.
Yeah, see that's a very difficult line to cross, right? It's like you need to make sure that people don't misuse the kindness that you give to the team members or misuse the policies that you have. If you put a line saying, if I find any misuse that happens, that's it, you're not there in my team. People should be aware of that. For example, one of the big challenges that we have today in the industry is, especially in our industry, is moonlighting. Moonlighting is people doing another job in addition to whatever we do. As an organization, we said we are in line with the moonlighting policy. We are okay with people doing another job outside of LKQ's job. We are okay with that. So we launched something called as a moonlighting policy. We are very clear in that thing saying, here are the guidelines. If you are doing anything, whether it is for passion, whether it is you want to earn something, whatever it is, you can do. But take an approval from the organization saying that you are doing this activity and it is not conflicting interests of LKQ. And we have put some guidelines saying you can't apply a leave and do that job. You can't do it within using our assets. All those things we have put. And a very clear undertaking saying that if you have not given that direction, you have not taken a clearance from the organization saying that you are working on this, and if we find you, we are not going to check what you do on a daily basis. If we get to know, that's it. It's a termination. Integrity is one of our value system. On anything we do, we tell people whether you are, one of the toughest jobs I had is we had an A-class performer in the organization who had 5 rating. We have scale of 1 to 5 rating for year on year for multiple 5 years. 1 year that person made a mess in terms of integrity. He put something under the carpet without highlighting he has made a mistake to anybody. We never knew it after 6 months. Things were going on well. After 6 months we got to know. It was a small mistake. Once we found it, we said, from tomorrow you are no more in the organization. Because shielding something which is wrong from the eyes of the organization is not right. Even if you have made a mistake which cost the organization $100,000, we will be there to support you. But if you shield something which is even $10,000 worth, we do not accept. Integrity, no questions, nothing, no questions asked. If you are proved, gone. So if people misuse something like that, we need to be very clear with the team saying, if you misuse my kindness, it's challenging.
I think, Kishore, this brings me to the very important question. The policy and personal are two important things. So we are human beings.
Right.
We work very weekly. We meet for some court preview. We discuss entire thing in the world under the sun. And we personal, right? No, we have that kind of relationship. But at the same time, there's a policy.
Correct.
Which talks about individual performance. This is where an integrity of a person comes into picture. I know a lot of people. Sometimes, whenever I feel like sharing things which make sense. Like after I met you and came here, I spoke about you with many people. And I have got my leaders when I'm talking about things like this, or if I'm too much off the track, they remind me and they continue with their work. And some people, they listen to me, they make use of it. Some people, they take advantage of it. That segment of people is very dangerous. And that integrity here is like, they remain very nice to you, very good to you, and they don't do their job, and they think they can survive. But as an organization like ours, can never happen that. But that 2-3 months, they waste their life, they waste our time,
Absolutely.
they waste our
Absolutely.
resources, and sometimes we bring in a lot of people trusting them, and they spoil their future.
Try to ensure that we give that accountability or freedom to leaders to go talk to the members. Many times I would get this thing, one of the team members say, my leader has behaved like this, they come to me and talk. I tell, okay, I hear your story, I understand, but I need to hear the other side of the story too. So I will communicate this with the leader, your leader will come back with all those things, and then we will get it addressed. So anything we do, we will do it in an open, transparent way to make sure that people know saying what we are doing. It's just not blindly taking this.
Any more questions? I think we can take 1 or 2 more questions. Yeah.
I have one doubt. As a leader, we have to understand sometimes our people, like brother, and like some problems like father. Sometimes we have to teach like teacher. Sometimes, and also they are doing any mistake, we can take action like boss also. Is it right or wrong?
It is right. It's always good to know the person. Sometimes if the person is not comfortable in sharing their personal life, it's okay. There's nothing wrong. We can't put pressure on them to share. It's okay to good to know the person. If there are any challenges with them, we will be there to support them. If you have the trust, the biggest thing is we need to build trust in the finance people. Once the trust is built, automatically things will change. That building that trust, getting to know when to apologize to your members, getting to know when to appreciate them, getting to know how to talk to them, that's the biggest thing. Once we build the trust, things will change drastically. So ensuring that you build the trust is the first step as a leader within the team.
Okay, sir. I have one more. We have to listen more than we can teach them their problem and their. We have to prove what is their strength, what is their weaknesses. We have to know very much, no?
Absolutely. You need to understand what you do. I think one of the best ways to do is, do we follow SWOT analysis here? Do we do that?
Not at, I think,
Not at-
team level.
So typically what we allow people to do is something called, there is something called as a SWOT analysis, strength, weakness, opportunities, threat. Ask your member to fill that chart and come. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are the opportunities and threats? Strength and weaknesses personal to that person. Opportunities and threats are coming from the outside world. Ask the person to come up with it. Do a self-evaluation. Ask the person to do it. Then that will give bulk of the answers for the leader is answered from that chart. You will get to know what the strengths are, whether it aligns with your thought or not, it will be known. Then it will be easy for you to communicate back to the team member, saying they might have already analyzed it, saying this is a weakness.
That's a challenge, you know. Sometimes, like many people come to our office just to meet me. Sometimes I'm able to give time. When I'm busy, calendar is also scheduled. Very difficult to give time. And being somebody like him, it's very difficult. But I think that you can't expect a role model to come to you or give time to you. You see, now if someone is very big, you can read about it. Like Vijay Sankeshwar, there's so much to read. How much you similar way you have Narayan Murthy as your role model. You can always read. But your aspiration should be, I should one day meet them. But to meet them, you have to grow. That actually drives you. So I felt so happy today. He called and said, I'm coming to your office. So I think that journey is going to take some time, but we have to have patience to get there.
Very nicely pointed out, Sudheer. I think there's a difference between a role model and a leader you want to admire within the environment. Yeah, role model, as Sudheer was mentioning, it is tough to get their time and stuff. So we need to think about all these things. Whereas a leader within the vicinity and stuff, yes, people will be available.
Great. Please. Last question.
I agree, we make most of our decision based on it. We look at technical skill, whether they are able to do that job, and environment fitment. If not, we will not take them, and commitment level. even though their technical skills are not matching up to our expectation, sometimes when they are good at environment fitment and commitment level, we take them.
Correct.
By believing we are going to train them. Take an example, you accept a member to your family. You invest 6 months of time, and they are the part of very important integral part of your entire value system. Now, over a period of time, human beings are very good in adopting the changes. The behavioral changes are the attitude changes. You can able to sense, and it's hampering the overall productivity. But you are in a stage now, you can't replace a person, or you can't code them further to change, or you can't go back and talk to anyone else. This person is the threat to the team. How you will handle the situation, and what is the solution for it?
Different scenarios, it's a tough question. Different scenarios, different things might happen here. But I'll tell you, in a situation where I had the similar thing, the person was not up to speed, who was spoiling the entire team. We had a discussion with the person saying that if this is going to happen, I'm going to remove you from the team. We removed that person from the team. Balance members had to put in additional hours to fill in that gap. We said, yes, this is an important project, the organization, it cannot stop, but this person is hampering everything. We got to know it's certain. Remove the person, ask the other team members, get their buy-ins, ensure the project fails. If it continues, balance 5 will also fail. You don't want that, and the project cannot fail.
This is my personal question, not in organization level. Is it that you have never felt to start your own firm?
I had that thought once, but after that it came, I never had that thought. I'm enjoying the role that I'm doing. It keeps me happy, keeps me energized every day. So that thought never came in of it. Way back, a few years ago, decades ago, I had that thought.
Thank you.
As he just gave an example, so this is just told 2 minutes back, Parmeshwaran Jivan sir is giving 90% of the revenue. Okay, once, and personal relationship is also good with both of them. Once a day, sir will feel, okay, now Jivan or Parmesh is having an integrity issue, right, in the team. If he'll replace, as you said, you have to replace, but other member have to put the effort. If other member will put effort also, he cannot match that. Okay, because 90% of the revenue they are contributing. So how you will tackle that?
See, this you should think about the short term and the long term, right? If there is an integrity challenge with anybody, first thing is don't even think about it.
We have done that. You can ask.
Do it.
Jivan Parmesh knows it. You remember the guy who was contributing 65-70% of our revenue? One guy. We had to take a decision. We had to terminate, and we did that.
We have to do that. There is no question, nothing. No other question. Integrity issue. Don't think anything else. Companies will survive. Companies will move ahead. But integrity, no tolerance. And as leaders, we also get many times we get this situation, right? Whether I should do this, what if I do this person will feel bad. If I do this person will feel good. What should I do on this thing? Tell you one mantra for all of us is do the thing what you feel is right for the organization. Err on the side of truth. Don't err on the side of pleasing somebody. That's going to hit us very, very bad. Err on the side. People will be disappointed at that point of time. But 6 months later, whatever decision that you have taken will always be right.
Very important.
Err on the side of truth, always.
Great. Thank you so much. Kishore, we should have given you this long back when you came, but because
I'm a very, very informal person.
Thank you, and thanks for taking your time.
I was telling Supriya, keep it simple. I'm a very informal
My
person.
team has got.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Going forward as well, all of us have our own beliefs, including me. Very strong beliefs. We come with our own belief system. We believe in certain things. And that belief has to be validated, vetted, time and again. What I was believing as right few years back is not right today. And unless I embrace that, I won't move ahead. And that is the true leadership. Because as he said, he used to manage tasks. He realized that's not the right way at all. He changed it. That brought him here. A book called What Got You Here Won't Get You There. A wonderful book. I mean, I think this thought process, each one of us must. And I will do my best to ensure that I remain as much as possible that flexible in learning, continuously update, because the day I feel that I am outdated, I don't deserve to lead you, I won't be here. And that's my commitment to everyone. And all of us must have that, because it's not just we have crossed the stage of thinking about one individual, one person. No. We all have come forward to build a community, a family, a cause. In fact, when I was talking to Vijay Sankeshwar sir about what we are trying to achieve, he was so fascinated. While leaving, he said, I'm your fan. I think we all now have this big responsibility of making that big change in the society, big change in the community we serve. So if that has to happen, then all of us should be very flexible, continuously think big, update ourselves, upgrade ourselves. And for that, people like Kishore will add value. I think we need to bring in, because there's so much today I am learning practically, because hardly we spent 15 minutes in your office that day, and that 15 minutes gave me that positive vibe. There's so much I have to learn from this person, and I think I'm not done. So much more to be learned, and I'll continue this interaction, and probably one day we'll bring him back here. So I need that culture. If you all want me to bring anybody else, and I don't mind doing this once in every 2 weeks, or worst case a month, once in a month. And all of you should continuously upgrade, get better, challenge each other, and challenge yourself. Any closing remarks?
No, I think we have an excellent team, lots of questions. I know I did my best to convey whatever my experiences wanted to share with you all. Great questions, great team. Typically to engage like this, it's not easy, right? I have addressed many teams and this thing, very few people ask questions. And today it was good to hear lots of questions from everybody, lots of engagement, and that shows how you can.
Thank you so much, sir.